Good evening. Thank you for joining us on ERi-TV. This is English news broadcast live from the headquarters in Asmara at 10:30 p.m. local time. First, the top stories. Seminar to women nationals in Uganda and Australia. Seminar to youth in Germany. Russia stopped sending nuclear arm information to U.S. Dozens killed in blaze on Philippines ferry. Seminars have been organized to Eritrean women in Uganda and Austria, focusing on the objective situation in the homeland, as well as the role and participation of Eritrean women in the diaspora in the national affairs. At the seminar organized in Kampala, Mr. Mohammed Suleiman, Eritrean ambassador to Uganda, gave extensive briefing on the objective situation in the homeland, as well as the situation of Eritrean nationals in Uganda. Mr. Mohammed also said that as a result of the strong resilience and perseverance of its people and leadership, as well as its gallant defense force, Eritrea is at a promising situation and called for strengthening organizational capacity and participation in the national affairs. Commending for the briefing provided, the participants called for its sustainability. They also elected an executive committee and adopted programs of action. In the same vein, at the seminar, the Austrian branch of the National Union of Eritrean Women organized on 26 March in Vienna, the participants elected executive committee and adopted plans of action for 2 years. The union branch in Austria has been established in 2004, and since then it has been actively engaged in national affairs. The Office of Public and Community Affairs at the Eritrean Embassy in Germany organized seminars on 18th and 26th March to Eritrean youth in Frankfurt and Mannheim. Speaking at the event, Mr. Kibra Abd Kheste, Eritrea's Consul General in Germany, called on the youth to have a vision and equip themselves with skills and education and become competitive in their areas of activity, refrain from national attitudes, as well as to strengthen organization and participation in the national affairs. Mr. Kahsai Tawolde, Head of Public and Community Affairs, on his part, noting that the Eritrean history is history of resilience and victory, and that the secret for that is political awareness and perseverance of its youth. Calling for the sustainability of the seminar, the participants called on the National Association and the embassy personnel to play the role in the strengthening of the youth organization. In the related news, the National Union of Eritrean Women organizations in 21 cities in Sweden have celebrated the International Women's Day with patriotic zeal, featuring various programs depicting the day. The National Union of Eritrean Youth and Students provided 3 months computer technology training to 86 youth, including 42 females in Torona subzone. At the conclusion event of training on 25th March, Mr. Abraham Tesfamaram, head of the union branch in the subzone, the training was part of the efforts the union branch is exerting to develop the overall capacity of the youth and enable them become productive members of the society. Mr. Musa Abdullah, head of the organizational and political affairs of the union in the southern region, on his part called on the trainees to develop their skill practically on the ground and improve their livelihoods. In the same vein, the PFDG office in Adghayh subzone organized 1-week training to youth in the subzone. The training included topics including Eritrean history, struggle for independence, national, mekhete, and development programs, the significance of transferring national history to generations, as well as nurturing common national principles. Speaking at the occasion, Mr. Habtai Tesfazgi, administrator of the subzone, called for the sustainability of the program. International news follows after a short break. Don't go away. Russia will no longer share detailed information on its nuclear weapons with the United States as outlined in the New START treaty, a senior official in Moscow has said. As Russia's military began drills with the ERi's intercontinental ballistic missile launchers in Siberia while fighting in Ukraine, raids and tension with the U.S. mounts. Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Ryabkov told Russian news agency yesterday that Moscow had halted all information exchanges with Washington after suspending its participation in the New START nuclear arms treaty last month. Ryabkov said that all notifications, all kinds of notifications, all activities within the framework of the treaty would be suspended and will not be conducted regardless of what position the U.S. may take. The U.S. said on Tuesday that it would cease providing Moscow with detailed data on its nuclear weapon stockpiles in the response to Russia's suspension of participation in the New START. The New START treaty, signed in 2010 by then-Presidents Barack Obama and Dmitry Medvedev, limits each country to no more than 1,550 deployed nuclear warheads and 700 deployed missiles and bombers. The agreement envisages sweeping on-site inspection to verify compliance. At least 28 people have been killed and 230 rescued after a passenger ferry caught fire in the Philippines. The blaze began in the ship's air-conditioned cabin yesterday night, but it's unclear how officials said. Among the dead were at least 3 children, including a 6-month-old baby. Earlier, officials said the number of people missing was uncertain because an exact passenger count was not known. Just 205 were listed on a manifest. The Philippines Coast Guard said search and rescue operations were ongoing and there were no signs of overloading on the ship. The initial death toll amounted to less than a dozen people. These were thought to have drowned as they jumped into the water without life jackets. However, authorities then discovered another 18 bodies on the vessel that were totally burned, said Comrade Rejar Marfe of the Coast Guard. He added that chaos resulted when the fire broke out as most of the passengers were sleeping at the time. The captain eventually ran the vessel aground so that it would be easier for those on board to swim ashore. Authorities said earlier than 14 people were injured and another 7 are missing. And now let's take a look at the top stories. Seminars to women nationals in Uganda and Austria. Seminar to youth in Germany. Russia stopped sending nuclear arm information to U.S. Dozens killed in blaze on Philippines ferry. It was me, Salim Berhana, with the news for tonight. Thank you for being with us. Have a good night.